temperatures now. Every time they exit the building, enter the building, checking their temperatures just to make sure, because it's an item of
Sorry.
concern, not only for us, but for TCS. Yes, go ahead.
No, I just apologize for interrupting you. I apologize.
Oh, okay. Um, so that's where we're at. The vehicles that were operated by the operators that tested positive were also deep cleaned and fogged, and then once the process subsided, then we ran the unit through the service line to get cleaned again by the service line personnel. Bus wash the interiors, exteriors, getting done. Placing those vehicles aside, and then once the time elapsed, then we place those back in line for revenue service. Um, the fixed route side has been okay. No positive cases. Those that were pending or um, feeling like they had symptoms, they were just not feeling well because of the weather. So no concern there. Um,
Hey, Ms. Mood.
Hey, so sorry to be late, and then I was dialing the wrong number, so
Oh, no.
I'm sorry.
So regarding testing for our personnel with TCS and admin folks, operations and maintenance, again, Ms. Garcia was going through the data, but it looks like 25 administrative personnel to date since August, about 100 operations to date from August. Maintenance, that would be 12, and TCS, that number would be 35 um, to date since August. I can get an accurate number. I believe she was still going through the stack, but that's what we have so far regarding testing between the fixed route side for RATP Dev and TCS personnel. Food service delivery, we've have 17 food service deliveries from the 1st of February all the way to yesterday is what I gathered from the system that we utilize for food service delivery. Getting the information uh, for our bus detailing. First of all, before I continue on with the bus detailing and the breakdown, the numbers of how many units were detailed, fogged, and interior exteriors completed, any questions on the COVID information that I just presented?
Well, I'm coming in late, so I'm hoping this then hadn't already been covered. But what would you say those numbers you gave us of the staff and that have been tested are in as a percentage of the total staff? Can you do that in your head, or I'm just wondering what proportion of our staff we're reaching with the testing?
Uh,
100%.
yeah, we're averaging about 100% in maintenance, Ms. Mood. Um,
Uh-huh.
I'd say about 80% for administrative personnel on the fixed route
Mhm.
side. Um, the same, I'd say about, and again, this is not consistent testing that they're getting tested every month or that Lovelace is here. So that
Mhm.
percentage, at the end of the day, we capture 100% of the folks, but every month, um, for example, for myself, it's been 100% every month. Every time they're here, I'm testing. Um,
I see. So it's hard to say in terms of what I'm hearing is that overall we've reached pretty much everybody, but they don't get tested every time. Is that what you're saying?
that is correct, Ms. Mood. The
Okay.
consistency factor of getting tested when Lovelace is here is not
Right.
100%.
Okay. Okay, and I wouldn't expect it to be 100% every time. I just wondered if we had, people that have never been tested, or if we're missing a whole segment of our working population. But it sounds like not from what your data tells you.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, go ahead. Please move forward, Mr. Sanchez.
Okay. Right. For the bus detailings, and calculating, I'm getting that number for you now. Just have to scroll 139 pages. I apologize.
Ms. Mood, just to bring you up to speed, I added Mr. Fergus to this subcommittee, and he is joining the subcommittee as a board member. So now we have
Good.
3 members on the COVID.
I think that's excellent. Welcome, Mr. Fergus.
Okay. So here's what I got from December 1st to December 18th. I'm sorry, February 1st to February 18th. Total number of vehicles detailed is 1,309. Total foggings,
Huh? Yeah.
foggings total 1,184.
Mr.
And-
Chair,
I'm doing it right now. Okay, fine.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
on this vehicle detailing, can those figures, rather than give us a figure like 1,000, that doesn't mean anything to us. But if he told us how many were in use and how many were detailed, that we could make that comparison ourselves. Because all we want detailed is the active buses that are in use, right?
If I will ask him to add that to his report for the future, Mr. Sanchez, please note Mr. Fergus' request.
Yes. So I can give you a ballpark answer right now. So vehicles, whether they're in service or not, they are being detailed. For example, let's say we ran 56 routes this morning. Those 56 units would get detailed fog with the interior exteriors cleaned, as well as the spare units in the yard. That number would vary for the simple fact is, let's say we have a customer defecate on the unit, we will have that unit brought back and swapped out. So then that vehicle would get detailed, run through the service line to get the interior exterior completed. So that would be added on that list. So
Can
sure.
you answer this for me? If a
Yes.
vehicle is not in use, why are we wasting the time detailing it when it's not in use? And so it should, if it was previously detailed, it should be in that same condition the next time prior to use. Am I correct?
You are correct, and that
All right.
is
Well, why are we detailing buses that are not in use? That seemed like a waste of time to me.
at the request of the agreed upon contract between the Comet and RATPDF, and one of the requests that Mr. Ando has, whether or not a unit is not in use, it is to still get detailed and cleaned inside and out.
Can you bring that issue to the board as one of your items at the next board meeting?
Sure, I can.
Thank you.
Um, and again, so the numbers that I read out are the total number of units that the service line cleans, does the interior and exterior. They keep a log of a check sheet of what units were cleaned. The same thing with our subcontractor Care Pro. They do the same thing. The units that are fogged and detailed. And again, you may see one unit on the list, let's say 3 times within that week, because let's say an operator infected with COVID touched that vehicle, whether that operator went inside that vehicle, drove that vehicle, or just pre-tripped that vehicle, we're treating that unit as a contaminated unit, and we're going through the full process just to make sure we cover any precaution there. So the total number of vehicles, the total number of interior and exteriors that were done is 4,534 as of February 1st to the 18th. And again, that includes active revenue, even vehicles that were in the yard as a spare.
Are you at the end, Joe?
Well, yeah, I'm almost done. I just want to touch on this. It would be very helpful if we can have some sort of, and I'm sure it's gone out, but some local support in regards to enforcing, the mask rule. I know we have this executive order by Mr. President Biden requiring masks while in public transit. So if we can get that support from board, the comment just informing the riders that it's a mandate, because we're encountering some delays because people are hesitant, riders are hesitant to put on their mask, and once we're pulling over the unit and asking them to align the vehicle and they're refusing, we're having to waste time call CPD or Richland County out to the scene. And then at that point, when the individual hears that, law enforcement is en route, they're exiting the vehicle. So if we can get that added support, that would be greatly appreciated.
Mr. Chair, could
Yes.
I ask how frequently that happens? Are we encountering that kind of resistance daily on multiple
Ms.
routes, or is this a fairly rare occurrence?
Now, to be honest with you, this has been it's been increasing lately. I've had operators come in and document incident reports to where I have a new operator that was released from class, and she was communicating with a rider to put on the mask, and the rider got off at Comet Central and just started speaking belligerently to the operator. Then the operator saw that the individual got on a different vehicle, and our operator approached the other operator and said, "Hey, don't let this passenger on because he's not he's refusing to wear his mask." So that ensued into the customer yelling and cursing at our operator. I mean, we called security. Security went to the bus and took care of it. But that's what our operators are going through. And if we can at least put a blast out there, just reinforcing that'd be greatly appreciated.
Well, I understand the need for the support, and I want us to have every support we can to enforce what is not only required, but it's just important to do because it's the right thing to do. I wonder if we could just keep a tally of the numbers of incidences that we have, so that we have a sense of whether that's things are getting better or worse, and can
Yeah.
look deeper into what we might be able to do.
Okay. Yeah, I will have
And
this.
one
I will
one
have the
point.
team start documenting it, spreading out the list from AM and PM, so that way we can see where our peaks and valleys are regarding this issue.
And one thing also, Mr. Sanchez, I do think that you probably have the same persons that are causing this, and so I don't want to distort the number by realizing that this person may have issues, and it's the same person that's causing these numbers or same persons that's causing these numbers to rise. So just make sure your operators note that too.
Understandable.
That's a good point. So, because I'm thinking that the more we understand in terms of like you're saying, Derek, whether it's one person repetitively doing it or numbers of people growing, that's important. And also whether it's just confined to a certain area, or if there's any way we can narrow down the understanding of the pattern, that I think that's helpful to us in terms of knowing how to respond.
Very
Absolutely.
good.
Mr. Chair, this is Leroy, champion. Can I have Ms. Bino Reed kind of respond to that as far as what we're doing, as a comment as far as communicating that out to our ridership?
Please do.
Ms. Bino Reed?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Deschamps. Good morning, everyone. So we have increased the number of our social media posts, but even beyond that, we have had signage on the buses since we mandated the mask mandate, and we also have the executive order on all of the buses as well. They are accompanied by a no trespass notice, and people are notified that if they do board the bus without a mask and refuse to put one on, that they are guilty of trespassing.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions or comments for Mr. Sanchez, this for B?
Please move forward.
C, update on testing. We continue to partner with DHEC with offering testing down at Comet Central on Wednesday through Saturday. So we're continuing to do that. Also with testing, offering testing to the staff here. What I try to do is meet with, or through a call, touch bases with Lovelace Family Medical to try to make sure that we continue to do our testing. And with my call and meeting with them this morning, they're asking us to kind of modify our our testing date. So, and we were on a schedule to do like Tuesday and then Wednesday. They're proposing that they would like for us to do Monday and Friday, or they can extend the hours on Monday or extend the hours on Friday, where we would only do one day. And the reason is because of with the amount of testing that they're doing now and the vaccines, basically from a staffing standpoint, they don't have the staff to send here mobilely, if I can get it out, each month. So what I will be doing is working with RETP Dev and their HR people to see which date would be best, Monday or Friday, and if we decide to go with one date, what hours. So they're telling us that if they only come out one day, they can stay a longer period of time. So I will be working with them on that and getting that scheduled because our next scheduled date is the first week in March. Also, in my conversation with them, they are open to extending the testing through April, May, and June, and I will be working with them to finalize those dates also. So we'll continue to work towards that and offer testing here for staff. So that will continue. And that's my update on testing. If there's no questions, we'll go right on to.
Mr. Chairman, I would just make a comment that I think what Leroy is doing in terms of reducing the number of days and the hours that they are available, given both the size of our demands and what we're finding in terms of positive tests, seems like a reasonable approach. And just to say that I'm aware that because of where I live, that Lovelace Family Practice is a very busy site for administering vaccines. So I understand why their staff may be stretched, and I don't want us to make demands for more time than we actually have to have and free up their staff to be vaccinating. So that's my comment.
Thank you.
And okay, we'll move right along to D. We have Mr. Sweeney on the phone. Ron?
We do.
All right.
I have Ronnie. I have Ron here. Give me 1 second.
Good morning, everybody. I'm
Morning.
at maintenance is happy to report that the barriers for the rest of the new flyers are here. We got the last shipment yesterday. The folks, the installers, are still scheduled to be here next Tuesday to begin the install. So that's pretty much a done deal, other than getting them in there, and we'll get that done. Once that's done, then the only barriers that we need to do is the 2 trolleys. And if you'll remember, I think from my last update, I let you know that the New Flyer folks was working on the engineering of those. Since we last talked, they have reached back out to me for some further information and some further photographs in certain areas of the inside of the coach. So I've got those pictures for them, got them some measurements, got that back to them, and hopefully they'll come back to us with something that we can be able to use and okay pretty soon. And that will, when we get those done, that will complete our barrier project, and that'll be a great day. Moving on, we've got the far UV light. That's a demo that's in bus 802. We've checked the installation of that, and we're okay with how the installers did their work. The question that's on my mind is the light is supposed to kill the virus, and I don't doubt that it doesn't, but I'm just not real sure. I'm reaching out to the manufacturer to give us ways that we can verify that it's actually doing a good job for us. They have provided me a brochure that with some information on it. They have provided me the name and rank of an Army major in Arkansas that has 4 Army vehicles with the unit on those vehicles. And I have reached out to him in an email asking him to please share his experience with us, and have not received anything from him yet, but it was the first part of this week when I reached out to him. So that's pretty much where we're at on those 2 areas, and be glad to try to answer any questions.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Before we move on too fast, did I hear right that as of Tuesday, the barriers will be installed, or we just get them all on Tuesday?
We've got them all, and they start on the 23rd, on Tuesday the 23rd, doing the installations.
What is the completion date?
I would say they should there's 39 of them altogether. I think, I would say probably about 10 days, 10 working days.
I just wanted to make sure that we let the public know that it's front entrance when those barriers are up, that we don't change that without the public being aware of the change.
Point noted.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Mrs. Champs, please move forward, Mrs. Champs.
Yes, we'll move on to E. We'll have an update on the DART office from Ms. Gibbons.
Good morning. With the recent rise in cases and the shared office space between the customer experience representatives and the reservations, we made moves to have the customer experience representatives work from home. So at this time, even with the conducting social distance and mask checks, there's been a recent rise in that shared office space. So the customer experience representatives, not to include the Comment Central, customer experience employees are now working from home. I would have to, for the reservationists and the dispatchers, there's still.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah, and that's my first time hearing about these home workers. Do we want to switch that to our board meeting to get some, to stay on top of it, get some control of this working from home? Are others familiar with it? It's the first I've heard it.
I am aware of it, Mr. Burgess, and I will make a point for Mr. Ando to brief the board on the status of telecommuting.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And that's the end of my report.
If no questions, we'll move on to F, update on vaccination and impacts to public transportation from Mr. Andor. Yes.
Good morning, members of the committee. Just to give you a quick update, we're still being advised phase 1B is still going to occur in early spring of 2020, and that would result in our staff being able to get vaccinated. We've drafted a letter that we envision being distributed to the employees on how to get vaccinated as we get more information, and to continue to practice social distancing, wear masks, and follow CDC guidance until vaccination occurs. Public transit workers still remain in category or in phase 1B. And page 14 of the packet gives you a summary of the vaccination efforts and the number of vaccines that are available via Moderna and Pfizer. Happy to answer any questions if there are any. Okay.
Any questions for Mr. Ando?
All righty. If no other questions, we'll move to the next two items. Don't miss your shot, transportation program and V-Trip pickup program. Those will be presented by Ms. Bino Reed.
Good morning again, members of the committee. As you know, we kicked off the Don't Miss Your Shot vaccination transportation campaign on February 4th. On February 9th, I sent links to the board of the coverage that we had to date, and the communication campaign is going well. Thomas Media Black Pages started distributing the physical assets, meaning our flyers and our brochures, to the churches and beauty and barber salons this week. They also have posters that are going out in the marketplace as well. We'll be doing a radio proof of performance with the radio stations. I believe all of you also got the audio of what that radio spot sounds like. We're presently working on a script and development of a TV spot to run on cable and WLTX and WIS Digital. Billboards have begun to go up with concentration where our ridership is in Richland and Lexington counties. Our partners have been co-advertising for us on their distribution networks. Senior Resources will be getting some flyers to send out. They asked for about 1,000 flyers to start this week, and Columbia Housing Authority has already started promoting us on their newsletter, and they'll be receiving their flyers, posters, and brochures as well. And these will also be going on the buses. We just got the shipment in from the printer. So these will also be going on the buses early next week. Let's see, we have community presentations that we've done and that are scheduled. Presented to Earlwood neighborhood last night, and we're on the schedule for Richland County Neighborhood Council, as well as Columbia Council of Neighborhoods. We'll also cover the campaign in the Comet Academy next month. John was interviewed on Cynthia Hardy's On Point with Cynthia Hardy television show, and that aired on February 13th. And we have a later date scheduled radio interview to be announced. We scheduled Coping with COVID streaming broadcasts that will be in April and June.
Ms. Reed.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Reed, would you repeat what you said after Mr. Ando's interview? You said who would be being interviewed?
Oh, I said we did the interview on television, but we have a later radio broadcast.
Okay, very good. You came in and out on my phone, so I did not
I'm
get
sorry.
it. Oh, that's okay. Thank you.
It might be because I'm looking down.
That's fine. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And we will also, left to be scheduled, we're still trying to get on the schedule for awareness on WIS and In Touch with Judy Gaston on KISS FM. So that's where we are right now. Does anyone have any questions on the Don't Miss Your Shot campaign?
I just want to commend you for doing such hard work and getting out to our riders and our individuals and passengers and drivers this information, and I must applaud you for your efforts and your due diligence. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I do want to mention that what we have noticed on social media, on our pages as well as other pages, that there is a lot of misinformation out there about the vaccine. I mean, people are coming up with things that I have never ever heard of related to the vaccine, that it contains aborted babies and all kind of craziness. And so we've been pretty busy trying to refute those, or at least flag them as misinformation.
And Miss Mood has noted that more than anything is that it's informing, not so much education, but informing the public of what the vaccine is all about. Miss Mood, did you want to add anything?
No. What I was looking for is I'm not sure. I'm not where I can have our packet in front of me, and so do we have any measures of how many people are taking advantage of the Don't Miss Your Shot?
That's a good question, Miss Mood. I've not, I don't know yet, but as you know, the campaign just kind of started about a week and a half ago. So I'm still waiting for some of those numbers to come in, and with the challenges that we've had with transportation, I know those numbers may be a little sketchy right now, but I'm hopeful to get something at least by the next meeting.
Okay, but we have
Thank you.
system set up for people to report those in?
Yes, I'd usually go and check on the DART system as far as how many people called in requesting that, because it's 65 and above right now. I don't necessarily have a tracking of how many people have used fixed route as of yet. but I should be able to get that.
Okay, because that, I mean, I realize that requires kind of an extra effort to be able to identify those, particularly those specific people on fixed route.
Yes.
And then I'm sure we'll need to account for the volunteer and the pups.
Yes, ma'am.
Because
we are. One thing to note that once, if the board elects to resume fare collection, it will be easier to track on the fixed routes since they would be required to show some type of paper stating that they have an appointment.
Okay, but we'd have to have a way for the driver to code that in so that they show up as that, wouldn't we?
Yes, that would be programmed in the Gen Fare. And we do this similar to all of our contractual partnerships, like with Lexington Medical, Richland 1, Richland 2, Allen University, et cetera.
And then we have a stream to track the ones that are using the where we are reimbursing volunteers and where we're doing the pups.
Yes, for V-Trip, they would have to list where they're going on a trip log. And then for a pickup program, we would have the origin and destination point as part of the report from the credit card company.
Okay. I just know it'll be important for us to know how much of an impact that's making, and so I'm glad to know we have a way of collecting that. And I look forward to seeing how many people are really using that.
Yes, ma'am.
And please let it be noted, it's very important to track, but at the same time, the dissemination of the vaccine is based on 65 and plus now, but that number will continue to grow as it drops. So just make sure we have those orders in place to be able to track once the vaccine age group is lowered.
Agreed.
If there are no further questions for the campaign, I would like to, Mr. Chair, go towards the V-Trip and PUP programs.
Please do.
Okay, so one of the big components of what we're doing for V-Trip and PUP is church outreach, because we recognize this is an excellent opportunity to reach people who may not be connected to social media or any other channels like that. So we've compiled a list of churches in the Midlands, and we'll execute a distribution plan that includes sending out the V-Trip and PUP wrap cards, and also we have partnered with Thomas Media Group for flyer distributions. As you know, on the Don't Miss Your Shot campaign, we've prominently placed V-Trip and PUP as a means of transportation, and we'll be concentrating those in those rural areas, especially where V-Trip and PUP may be used because they're within that designated service delivery area for V-Trip and PUP.
Ms. Reed, if you would, I'm not sure Mr. Fergus has brought up on V-Trip. Would you explain to the board for our own edification what is it all about, please?
Certainly, I'm happy to. So the V-Trip program, that's short for volunteer transportation, and what it does is that for people who live in Richland and Lexington counties but are not served by the Comet services, they can ask a friend or a neighbor to, once registered for the program, ask a friend or a neighbor to take them where they need to go within our catchment area, and we will reimburse mileage up to $50 a month. Again, they have to register for the program and make sure that they're eligible. And this is available for people who are 65 and above and or disabled. PUP is very similar and has the same criteria. However, instead of reimbursing a friend or a neighbor, they use what we call a PEX card and can travel. The PEX card has $50 a month on it, and it doesn't roll over. It's $50 period. If you don't use it, you don't get to roll over the amount that you don't use. However, you can use that for taxi or a rideshare service such as Uber or Lyft.
Thank
So
you.
Pam, this is not limited to just vaccine appointments?
It's not limited to just vaccine appointments. So they
Well,
could use it for anything.
Okay, well, if you could send me electronically either the flyer or whatever it is that you're trying to get out to churches, you know, I've been trying to broadcast, you know, through the electronics to the pastors I know in my area and the Ministerial Alliance. If you could send that to me, I'll just I'd love to be able to send it out to that network of contacts.
Oh, absolutely. And Ms. Mood, if you would like for me to make sure that they have hard copies as well, I'm not sure how many of them are meeting in person, but I'll be happy to get that to you as well. If that would be
Well,
helpful.
I can say in my communication that we can provide hard copies if they need it, but I know that there's a good communications network, and so
Okay.
there's some key people that I think if they know it, they'll make sure the other churches know it. But that's because that Ministerial Alliance is very active up here.
Okay, I will send you both the RAT cards as well as the flyers for the vaccine.
Okay, and
Very
it may
good.
just be that we can, as part of the report to the board, that we can just alert other board members, because every one of us has our own contact networks, and if we can get those out, help you get those out, be so glad to do that, and that'd be good for all of us.
That's wonderful. Thank you so very much.
Mr. Fergus, do you have any questions?
Oh, fine, thank you.
Mr. Reed, does that conclude your report?
No, sir, we have a couple of other things that we'll be doing. So, as you know, we try to use multiple channels to get information out. So the hard copy distribution, we're doing email blasts that not only go through our network at the Comet, but we're also leveraging, again, Thomas Media Group's network of over 5,000 on their email blasts. We're going to put out at least one paid social media post per month, and when it's paid, that means we can distribute to a larger audience. So it's not just our organic people who follow us, but it goes to a larger listserv. We'll be advertising the program specifically in Carolina Panorama, All About Seniors magazine ads, and a couple of other advertising outlets that we have already within the marketing plan, but we'll just pretty much elevate those. And on our new website, there will be a new page with copy and graphics detailing those programs. And since we are, our newsletters are one avenue that we know that we can target our information, VTrip and PUT will be included in an ongoing email newsletter, and then we'll tease out a special edition for them as well. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
No, that's an impressive campaign. I really do applaud the staff and our contract folks for working on that.
Very good. I concur. That brings us to our next item, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Have a good afternoon, everyone.
You too.